My name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Actually about particular cases. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act was put in place to make sure that companies that use consumer reports to be able to check someone's credit, that they are transparent with individuals about how they're doing that. And then also people who use these agencies like companies, they are also transparent with those companies as well. There's an interesting find that happened recently in the US with the Federal Trade Commission. So the Federal Trade Commission actually fined two companies, and these are background check companies called TruthFinder and Instant Checkmate. They said that these companies, again, they're background check companies. They said that they deceived individuals and also companies that they were working with about the information that they had. So, for example, they may send out an alert to say, hey, this person has a criminal record, and then when you buy the report, you look at it and it's just a parking ticket or something. Or they were touting their accuracy of these reports, but what they were really doing was getting third-party information that was not verified. So the FTC said that they were, even though these companies did not consider themselves a credit reporting agency, that they were operating as if they were a credit reporting agency. And as a result, they got a $5.8 million fine for this. I think this is really interesting. I see a parallel a bit in something that's happening in California with the age-appropriate, the DELETE Act, where the state of California, for example, they have a very broad definition of what is a data broker, and a lot of companies are very upset about this wide interpretation of a data broker. So basically, California is saying, if you collect data, you sell it to someone without someone's permission, you may fall into this broad category of data broker. And I feel like the FTC, with this particular case, that's what they're saying about these companies that are basically data scraping companies. If they are touting the accuracy of that information, that they are acting as credit reporting agencies, and credit reporting agencies have very specific requirements under the law. So it has to be accurate. They have to be able to have a situation where they need to tell someone if there's an adverse inference based on what is in those reports. There needs to be a correction mechanism in place for people, and I think a lot of these companies did not have that. Basically, they were just pulling or scraping this third-party data, maybe from the internet or for different sources, not verifying the accuracy, but saying it was accurate and then selling it to other people. So I think we're going to see a lot more situations where companies are able to morph into these different, what they consider different business lines, but it's actually maybe getting them into trouble because they may be operating as a data broker, they may be operating as a credit reporting agency, and as a result, they may be considered, under those laws where maybe in the past they hadn't thought of themselves in that way. But if they're operating and they're collecting data of individuals in these ways that aren't transparent, for which there are laws, there will be problems for these companies in the future. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen here, but I think as we see more companies try to leverage data in different ways to be able to make money, I think we'll see some companies run afoul and end up being categorized as some of these other types of groups like credit rating agencies or data brokers, even if they don't think that they are. That's it. Thank you.